Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeedy, Nick Foles. Let's make some noise. Everybody, welcome back to The Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I am back in the saddle again tonight. Back from my trip. A little early. Wasn't supposed to come back until tonight, but I came back last night just so I could be on the air, just so I can maximize my time with you. And it's great to be back for our first episode of our broadcast week, a week that should see us, well, not get 5, maybe get 3, because I'll be here tonight, not here tomorrow night because I got post game here Wednesday and here Thursday. So 3. We'll get 3 out of the 5 shows done, hopefully, and we'll have some fun with that along the way. Of course, Victory Monday is once again upon us. Eagles 38-20 winners yesterday over the Giants in a game that was, I got to give the credit. I got to give it. Yeah, was it possibly the first complete game of the season? Potentially, yes. Saquon Barkley obviously getting the going with the run game, and then the gruesome injury to Cam Scatterboo. I don't think we're talking enough about that because I really believe that was a big tipping point in that game. So we'll get into some Eagles-Giants talk tonight. The Flyers, a decent weekend, decent hockey being played by the Fly Guys. They're winning games where they got to win them, generating enough offense, getting the goaltending. Defense is holding up. 4-3-1, 8 games in. We'll get into some Flyers talk. And Dave Dombrowski and Bryce Harper as the world turns. Definitely going to get into that conversation tonight as, God forbid, you criticize St. Bryce. And we'll definitely talk a little bit about that. And anything else you guys want to talk about here on the program tonight as we usually open up all avenues of approach. So let's get it going tonight, shall we? Before I do that, though, let me remind you that this is something that you can expect, or what you can kind of expect from the network this week. Of course, I am here tonight. It wasn't really supposed to be, but I was able to get in. Tomorrow, you're going to have the prop locks and parlays being moved to their new night and time, Tuesday at 8. We also got some Clear the Ice with the Flyers and the Penguins. Wednesday night, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and me. Thursday, some Gridiron Weekly, Flyers and Preds post-game, Clear the Ice and me. Nothing on Friday. And then Penn State, Ohio State post-game on Saturday, and Flyers Leafs as well Saturday night. So that is your week in a glance at the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Definitely things are, grinding along. Appropriate word for it. But let's get it going tonight on our program. Mickey Delaney checking in saying, hey, what's going on, Matt? Mickey, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Chiming in from the West Coast. Hope things are well. Hey, Stranger Joe, how you been? How was my trip? Was productive. It wasn't really it was a working trip. I went down to Knoxville for a few days, hanging out down in Tennessee, doing some things. So it was a productive trip. Had fun. A lot of driving, 12 hours, mostly Interstate I-81. If anyone's ever taken that journey, if you want to know how long it takes you to get from South Central Virginia or North Central Virginia to South Central Virginia, it takes about 5 hours on I-81. And I know it well. And if you're on southbound, expect to be stopped every about 5 miles for traffic because of road construction. Northbound, not so bad, but southbound was a trip. But no, it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. Spent some time with some friends, hung out, got some work in on the fields. We had some fun hanging out at the University of Tennessee in their baseball stadium. Talked to their new head coach, off the record, of course, and just kind of hanging out. So it was a good time. I thank you for your interest there, Joe. Appreciate that. When is Wraparound coming back on? So we're a little program announcement. So have you noticed the Wraparound is off? So is the Get Processed Sixers post game. So is the Attacking Third. Pat is going to step out for a few weeks, 2 weeks to be exact. We're kind of going over some things right now. The Wraparound might happen Friday with another host. I just got to find somebody who wants to do it. If not, that's why I didn't put it on the schedule, because I don't really have a host. But we'll see if the wraparound can come back Friday. I'll ask some people if they want to do it. But those shows will be off the air for at least 2 weeks as we sort of work some things out. So unfortunately, that's kind of how it has to be due to some issues that we're having on the technical side of things. So I'm sorry that to be that one to tell you that. But I know we had to cancel some shows over the weekend. Trying to handle all that while being down in Tennessee was a pain in the ass. But we were able to do all that. So we're trying our best. Star Wars says the Eagles had a full game. And that's the lead-in question of the night. Was this their first complete game of the 2025 season? And if so, I mean, better late than never heading into the bye and all that. That's positive. But was this what you're expecting from the defending Super Bowl champions? And I guess, we can't look back. We got to look forward, and we'll get into that, Star Wars. I think you got a case there. I think that there's definitely a case to be said that this was their first complete game. But how much did the Eagles dominate the Giants versus how much did the Eagles kind of get lucky with some bad officiating? Terrible game on that side. And also the injury to Cam Scatterby. Again, I don't think there's being enough attention being paid to that. Cam Scatterby was pretty much the entire Giant offense. I'm not saying that, they would have won that game, but it just seemed to me that once that gruesome, I mean, let's face it, man, that's a career threatening right there. That's a potential career-ending injury when the poor dude's leg is pointing one way and his foot's pointing another. That's like on the level of Joe Theismann type of injury. But when that happens and he's really your only offensive threat other than your quarterback, that's got to be just gut-wrenching to the Giants. It probably was like their heart being ripped out. So there were some things to be taken away from this game on the Eagles side of the football. Saquon Barkley getting going with the 60-yard run. Tank Bigsby with a 100-yard rushing effort. Jalen Hurts effective when he had to be. Defense still, is a work in progress. And is that defense good enough as we get ready for, let's face it, the real season to start here at the end of the bye week, coming out against Green Bay and then Detroit back-to-back. This is when the season is going to start. Is this team in a spot right now completely ready to make that run? And we'll get into that. So let's get things, though. Let's do as we do here on the show. Let's get it started with our day in Philadelphia sports history. So let's get strapped on, strapped in, strapped up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times, and let's roll. 2008. I remember this day very fondly. I remember it very fondly indeed. Game 5, 2008 World Series. Phillies-Rays. Phillies with an opportunity to exercise their World Series championship demons. 1980 was the last time they won. Up 3 games to 1 in the series, with an opportunity to lock it all down. Cole Hamels on the mound, the middle of a late or early fall, like friggin' hurricane that they played through it. Phillies had the lead late, and when the weather really got bad, I mean, it got bad. It was in the top of the 7th when it was just extremely bad. But for some odd reason, and this was one of the controversial things about Game 5, was they allowed Tampa to play out that inning and potentially tie it, which they did. And then they suspended the game in the bottom of the 7th. Of course, that was a big thing, about why MLB did that. I remember watching it. I'm wondering the same thing. Why are we letting this game go on and on and on? The field conditions are bad. Weather's terrible. But MLB let them try to tie it, and they did. But the Phillies came back 2 days later in Game 5, Part 2, to clinch it and win the World Series. But definitely a memorable day in Philadelphia sports history. Game 5, Part 1 of the 2008 World Series was on this day, back in October 27th, 2008. So there you go. Your day in Philadelphia history. Game 5. 08 World Series Part 1. And boy, Hamels was throwing that night. Even in that weather, he was throwing. And I don't think they should have came out for the top of the 7th. I still to this day say that game should have been called. As the baseball rule said, it was a complete game after the 5th inning. I know this, you're going to end the World Series, essentially. You're ending the World Series. Phillies are going to win the championship on a called game. Listen, man, they didn't write the rule book. They just enforced the rules, but they let them come back out for the top of the 7th, and we got a tie game. Thankfully, though, as we all know, 2 days later, the Phillies were able to kind of finish the deal. But there you have it. 2008, Game 5, World Series, Part 1. And that was your day in Philadelphia sports history. Brought to you by Mike Laro and the Props, Locks, and Parlay Show. Debuting, or not debuting, but going to its new date and time tomorrow, Tuesdays at 8, here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Check Mike out. No pressure sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Mike will give you his picks, his locks, his picks, his props, his parlays, whatever you want to call it. Probably review a bad weekend that Mike told me. I talked to Mike over the phone over the weekend, and Mike said he had a bad weekend. I guess he mentioned it on the show yesterday as well. So maybe you can kind of rib Mike a little bit about his bad weekend of picking these games. Entertainment purposes only, of course. Well, make sure you're tuned in tomorrow night at 8 for the Locks, Props, and Parlay Show. It's new date and time. Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So let's start with our first topic. We kind of, Star Wars sort of led us into it. Let's talk Eagles. Let's talk Giants. 38-20 yesterday. Setting the tone early in that game, the Saquon Barkley 62-yard touchdown run. Saquon on the day, again, best day of the season by far for Saquon Barkley for the Eagles. Ran for 150 yards on 14 carries and a touchdown. Now, 62 of them of that 150 was on that final, on that first play of the game. But still, or was it second play of the game? Still, 90 yards for the rest of the way is more like what you want to see from Saquon Barkley, more than what you want to see from Barkley. But then the Giants, they answered right back, got the game tied, took the lead 14-7, Eagles did, and then the injury to Scatterboo occurred. And, as I said, I'm not sitting here telling you that if Scatterboo did not get hurt, the Giants would have won. But I just felt by watching that, the energy of the Giants just sort of went a different direction when they watched that horrific injury, him get carted off the field. Obviously, the season-ending, career-threatening type of injury. And, I don't think we can sit back and obviously the numbers say it differently. Jalen Hurts had himself an effective passing day, 179 yards, 15 for 20, and 4 very big touchdown passes. Devontae Smith, as mentioned, 84 receptions, 84 yards, not receptions, on 6 receptions. Tank Bigsby, he had over 100 yards rushing. So there were some definite positive things for this team to take from against the Giants. But as I said, I don't know. I'm not reveling in this game as much maybe as many people are. Was it a complete effort? I think it was. I absolutely think it was. And we're going to go over some of the numbers in a second. But as we sit now in the bye, with the defense still kind of the way they are, they signed Brandon Graham. Are they going to go out and find themselves another piece at the trade deadline? Maybe, maybe not. But as we sit here at the bye, heading into really the essence of the season when it starts in week 10, are they in the best spot they can possibly be to make a run for a Super Bowl? Is this the team? And again, we're going to go over some numbers because there's some issues still on this football team, and things are not. This is a different team than last year, and mainly on the defense, more so on the offense. The offense is to me is the one thing missing from the offense for me all season has been Saquon Barkley, and yesterday was his return. Hopefully, it's the start of something good for him, but the offense is still what it was last year, the year before that, and the year before that. The only missing component this year has been Saquon. But it's the defense that has been night and day for me from this year to last year. And again, you've heard me say it many times. It was, if you kind of have to have me rank the most important contributing factors to a Super Bowl championship last year, I thought it was the play of the defense, Saquon Barkley, and then Jalen Hurts down there at number 3. And right now, I don't see the defense as a Super Bowl type defense. And I didn't see the Eagle defense last year either in that aspect until about week 7, 8, 9. But we're getting deep into this season, and I still haven't seen the defense kick it into that gear. We talked about it last week when they re-signed Graham out of retirement. Did Howie set this defense up for the best possible way to defend their championship? And I say he didn't, but We're definitely getting into some of that. So Ricky Deal says, let's go Sixers. Yeah, man. Another win tonight, right? Against the what they beat the Magic. Yeah, another 3-0, 3-0 start. Yeah, I will open them up. Smith had a big game. He did. Are you trying to get me pissed off? We're still talking a win is a win is a win. Wow. I think Joe's doing that purposely, man. I really don't think he means that, but defense still has a problem. It does. So let's get into some of these numbers. Red zone yesterday, Eagles were again dominant, 3 for 3 on the season, 17 for 20. You really can't ask for much more than that. One of the knocks about the red zone attempts for the Eagles this year has been the fact that they haven't really been in the red zone that much, 20 times all season. That's not too many times, but that's because they're hitting big play touchdowns, right? But getting more sustained drives, getting the ball into that red zone, traveling the length of the field gives the defense time to breathe and all that, and I think it's better. But 17 for 20 when they are in that red zone has been pretty damn good on the season. It's about, 85% effective rate inside the red zone. A very consistent day in scoring for the Birds, 21 first half points, 17 second half points. The most consistent, balanced scoring attack the team was on all season. I get it. Towards the end there was sort of blowout time, but 21 points, 17 points. I love that balance. 54 first half points as they enter the bye. 124 first half points as they enter the bye for about 15 and a half a game. Only 84 points, even with the consistency of yesterday, that 17-point deluge. Only 84 points scored by this team in second half play so far this year. 10.5 points per half in the second half of action. That's been a problem. We talk about consistency, complete games, balance, and that's, to me, is the biggest indicator that we still have, we have a problem when it comes to being consistent offensively as we go through games. 5 more penalties yesterday, 54 now on the season. But, only 5 penalties for 30 yards. So they're big, tight penalties. And, yeah, the officiating, listen, there should have been more penalties. I'm going to step back a bit because you've never heard me sit here and say, in regards to the tush push, that they should ban it because it's unfair. That's not what I've never said that because I'm a firm believer if you want to beat a play, then beat it. Don't just wish it away. But how many times more are the Eagles going to jump off sides, running the tush push before that gets called? It was so blatant yesterday. I think 3 times I saw they were offside, blatantly offside, and it doesn't get called. So I think the proper adjustment to the tush push in the NFL is not necessarily getting rid of the play, but having the officials actually adjudicate it correctly. And I think that may be an avenue to go after it because right now it's so damn flagrant. I've never seen anything like it before and not get called. Absolutely not get called. And the Giants should be pissed off. The NFL should be ashamed of themselves. So start calling the offside penalties when they are so flagrant and obvious, which has been happening a lot this year, not getting called offsides when the Eagles are running that play. And yesterday it was belligerently bad. But again, I'm not going to sit here and get rid of the tush push. No, I'm not saying that. But call it correctly. The Eagles did not force any turnovers yesterday. And that's been a problem lately. Earlier in the season, when the defense was sort of humming around, they were forcing turnovers. They weren't doing it they haven't been doing it lately, and they're down now to only 7 turnovers forced all year. So they're down to less than 1 a game. Again, this was another big factor of why they won that Super Bowl. Week 9, to the end of the season last year, they were a turnover forcing machine. They have not been that way after about, say, week 4 or 5 this year. So we got to get better with that. They got to start forcing turnovers. It's the recipe for winning with this football team, and it was a proven recipe last year. But on the other side, they don't commit turnovers. None yesterday. 3 turnovers committed by this team all season long. That's absolutely amazing. Again, less than 1 a game, or less than 1, like almost like 0.3. They're on average. They did allow Jalen Hurts to get sacked 4 more times, 25 times now on the season. Eagles are allowing Hurts to get sacked 3 times a game through the first 8 games. Some of those are on Jalen, holding on to the ball too much. Some of them are coverage. Some of them are just blown coverage. That number is not necessarily off the charts high, but it is a number that I think you need to start kind of paying attention to. 25 times Hurts has been sacked through 8 games. They did get to Jackson Dart 5 times yesterday. That was a big push for them. They hadn't been getting sacks all year, but yesterday that was what Jalen Hunt had himself a game. 16 sacks now for the defense this season, and 2 for 2 on 4th downs. 11 for 14 on the year now for the Eagles. And again, the most complete game they've played all year in a 38-20 win against the Giants. And that injury to Scadaboo, terrible injury, man. You never want to see that happen to a guy because, again, that's a career threatener. That I don't know if you can come back from something like that, and not necessarily come back, but be the level you were before the injury. It's going to be a rough road ahead for him. I wish him all the best, man. I really liked him as a player out of college. I wanted the Eagles to draft him, but that's just an absolute terrible injury. And then that Saquon injury at the hamstring at the end of the game, or kind of towards the back end of the game, Thankfully for the bye, right? I'm sure he'll be fine. Goddard was used effectively. He was, but only 3 times did Jalen Hurts complete passes across the middle of the field. So far this season, Jalen Hurts has only completed 22 passes to the middle of the field. That's the same. I'm singing the same old song and dance that I've been singing about Jalen Hurts and his passing ability for the last few seasons. He just doesn't throw the ball to the middle, and he surely doesn't really complete them much. But Dallas Goedert was used effectively. Yes, it's very cool, Ricky. Go Sixers. Thoughts on the whistle during? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, why would you blow a whistle at that point? The ball's up in the air. Why? I don't know. Now by rule though, they said if there's an erroneous whistle, you got to kill the play and start over again. So they didn't do that, but it was a bad game, bad officiated game, and I'm prepared to say that it just wasn't good. It was sloppy. It was amateur hour out there. That crew should be ashamed of themselves, and hopefully they learn from it and they go forward. So, but yeah, that was weird. I've never seen that before. Hurts only allowed 1 interception. Star Wars. Jalen Hurts is not a passing quarterback. You're right. He's only allowed 1 interception, but they don't turn him loose, right? Me and Kyle have had this conversation a lot over the last few years. The Eagles, for some odd reason, don't turn Jalen Hurts loose. Eagles keep Jalen Hurts out of interception situations. It's the game plan. The offense is designed to keep him away from throwing interceptions. I'm not going to sit up there and pat Jalen on the back for not throwing interceptions. No, he throws very low percentage interception type passes. He does, and that's designed by the offense. So, but yeah, I mean, 1 interception is 1 interception. That's like 4 touchdown passes. Yesterday is 4 touchdown passes. But again, if you take away the contributions of Saquon and Tank Bigsby, I mean, does Jalen Hurts win you the football game? I know this is not a conversation on Jalen Hurts' ability, but Jalen Hurts is effective when he stays within the means of the offense. I'll definitely give you that. Thoughts on the Toth play good at center? He played okay, but he cannot be the answer going forward there, Joe. I mean, I know Jurgens was mercifully not playing yesterday, but yeah, I mean, Toth filled in well. He did. He filled in real well. Better than he does at guard, I'll tell you that much. But also, a lot of under center stuff from the Eagles yesterday. I know fans have been calling for it more, wanting to see Jalen under center more. It's not how the offense typically is rolled around. Like going back to Star Wars' point about Hurts only throwing 1 interception, because they keep him out of those types of positions. That's why they put him in the shotgun. They give him a maximum amount of opportunity to throw that football quickly, and it's very low percentage interception type passes. But for some odd reason, they had him under center a lot yesterday, and I don't know why. Was it because they didn't trust Toth? I don't know. That was a fumble. What was a fumble? Just bad officiated games. So, but the Eagles found a way to win 38-20 and find themselves 6-2 at the break. There will be no Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn this week. Obvious reasons. We don't have a game. But question again, I want to throw it out there to the assembled listening. Is this football team, as we sit here, and I'm not saying give out first half report cards. We could do that. Maybe we'll do that later on. But what you've seen from this team at 6-2, first 8 weeks of the year, as they get ready to start the season, let's face it, we're at that point now. Not only are the Eagles in a week 9 break, just happened to kind of fall into that, but post-trade deadline, November, this is it. I mean, I'm a football purist. I don't really believe the season gets going until about Thanksgiving, but the season for the Eagles and their schedule really kind of has to start in here early in November, with the Lions and Packers, or Packers-Lions back-to-back coming out of the bye, which is a huge test for this team. Huge, absolutely huge. Thankfully, it's set up that way. Or not, actually, they would have been better off if it was set up Lions-Packers. But is this team, at what you've seen from them at 6-2, and all the inconsistencies we've been talking about on the defense, some of the issues with Saquon getting going with the run game on the offense, injury issues, depth problems, is this team in a position right now, moving forward past the break, to be a legit Super Bowl contender? And yeah, I mean, I'm going to use recent memory bias and think back to last year, week 9, where the Eagles actually began, in my opinion, it was against Dallas. It was that Dallas game, week 9 last year. And that's when the defense turned it on. They started forcing turnovers. I believe they went into that week 9 game against Dallas, ironically, I think with 7 turnovers forced, and they ran this thing craziness to the end of the season and ended up with 31 forced turnovers for the season. And it began in that week 9 against the Cowboys. So if you got to look at this thing and play prognosticator and look inside of a crystal ball, is this team in a position right now to make a run for a Super Bowl? And it's not necessarily what the record states, is the internal condition of the team. Is this a Super Bowl contender? That tush push was a fumble. I didn't see what we were talking about. I saw the tush push that was offsides. That wasn't called. I didn't see what one. Is it the same one? I didn't see that. It's hard to call a tush push a fumble with all those bodies crashing, man. I mean, that's damn near impossible. But my point with the tush push, keep it in the book, keep it on the field. I don't care if I'm not saying get rid of it. Keep it there, but start calling it correctly. The Eagles are getting away with a lot with that tush push. They're getting away with a lot. And the refs got to start calling those penalties, man. Jalix Hunt was a beast. He was, Mike. He was absolutely a beast. Probably best game as a pro. I want to see Mike calling when MattyB opens the phone lines. Why? I'm talking to Mike all the time. Matt, can we celebrate my birthday on live? My birthday is Friday. Problem is, Ricky, I don't have a show Friday. The show runs on Sundays through Thursdays, and I don't know about the wraparound on Friday. Because Mike, you're there. Are you going to do it, Mike? Are you going to do the Ricky's birthday is on Friday on Halloween, Mike? Are you going to be the steward of the wraparound for him? Peer pressure you into that? I would, Ricky, if there was a show. Tell you what, Thursday night, come on here and we'll celebrate your birthday. All right, deal. All right, so as per your request, let's get them out there. Let's open up them phone lines. And there you go. So the phone lines are open. Chime in if you want. And we'll talk some Eagles. We'll talk Flyers. We're definitely going to talk Phillies. I want to get my opinion out about the Dave Dombrowski, Bryce Harper stuff. And then we'll kind of let this thing roll. We still got to do our of the night and our card review segments as well. So still a lot on the table here on this Monday night. Victory Monday for the Eagles, 6-2. In a game that was their most complete. I will give that to them. But do you feel comfortable and confident? Do you feel the same way you did last year, or do you feel this, maybe that's not the right way to say it, because with the fact that they are the champs, do you feel that they are in the best spot they can be in playing football-wise? Because I know, because the one good thing about the homers is at least some of them know when to stop saying, well, it's early. I don't have to hear the 4 games in September for extended preseason anymore. That's good. And you really can't use the it's early excuse anymore, because now this is the time of the year, week 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, around there, is when things need to start kicking in. The contenders rise, the pretenders fall. This starts it right now. And the way the Eagles schedule is, they're not going to have time, to sit there and try to work out more problems with the offense, when you're trying to deal with Green Bay and Detroit. So are they in a position right now, in the best possible position they can be heading into week 9 or week 10, to make a run for the Super Bowl defense? Don't know. Sorry, Ricky. Mike can't do it Friday. So there will be no wraparound Friday night, thanks to Mike Lauro. Blame him, everybody. Don't blame me. So, Ricky, come on here Thursday night, and I'll celebrate your birthday with you. Speaking of Ricky Deal, how are you? Let's go Birds, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Ricky. Ricky, are the Eagles in a best spot they can be to win a Super Bowl right now? Do you feel they are playing their best football right now? Mm-hmm. Really? That's interesting, Ricky, because I certainly don't feel that way. I don't think the defense is as good as it was last year. And more importantly, I don't think the defense is as deep as it was last year. I think the offense is pretty much the same if Saquon can kind of get going. But I don't know, Ricky. I'm concerned about the defense more than anything else. Are you concerned about the defense, Ricky? Mm-hmm. You're concerned about the defense, but you still feel that the Eagles are playing their best football right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ain't gonna argue. So yeah, Ricky, Thursday night. I can't do anything Friday for you. We don't have nothing Friday. So Thursday night, come on here and we'll celebrate Ricky Deal's birthday. Matter of fact, it'll also be MattyB's Halloween show, because I won't be on Friday either. So come on on Thursday night and we'll celebrate your birthday, okay? Wait, Ricky, your birthday's on Halloween? I just realized that. Ricky, that's very cool. That's very, very, very cool. I'm digging that, man. I would have loved to have that as a kid. I would have loved to have my birthday on Halloween more than I would have loved to have my birthday on Christmas. I think Halloween's a better holiday. Mm-hmm. Well, good for you, Ricky. All right, Ricky. We'll talk tomorrow, but yeah, Thursday night we'll definitely celebrate your birthday. All right, man? Mm-hmm. Okay, Ricky Deal. Man of many words. Right, Joe?
Yes.
What's going on?
I want to bring up your next segment.
You want to kick off the next segment?
Bryce Harper is gone. I love what Dombrowski said, and that my opinion is Harper's gone.
So you think Dombrowski's comments about Harper had underlining we're going to try to trade him type inclinations to it?
Yeah. Yes, and I'm all for it, because if you trade Harper, you bring back Kyle Schwarber back as DH, and it opens up your man, Mr. Pete Alonso, at first base.
Yeah, right with that. Then that's the way through, and I still think Pete Alonso, whether or not Harper's on this team or not, it should be the first baseman next year. But I do want to, and I want to jump into that real quick, though, Ricky, Joe. I want to talk a little bit about what you said. So during that press conference, you definitely saw Dombrowski's demeanor changed when he was asked about certain players. Matter of fact, he didn't even talk about Castellanos. Yeah. Right? He didn't talk about Castellanos. He was a little snippy when talking about Matt Strom and the whole PFP crap. But the tone of voice was different when he was talking about different types of players. When they asked him about Harper, I thought he gave an honest answer. Honestly, I thought he gave an honest answer. And it's the same answer that everybody in this city is probably. Well, actually, he gave a more kind answer than I would have. But I think he gave a legit, kind, honest answer about Bryce Harper's play. I mean, we're all saying the same thing. He did not play elite. He's been largely over the last couple seasons been a disappointment.
Yes, absolutely agree.
But I don't know if it was about trade. I don't know trading. I didn't get that vibe from him. I got the vibe from other players they talked about. I definitely got that vibe that they're out of here. And I don't think trading Bryce Harper is that easy. One, he's got to agree to any trade. He's got no trade clause. He's got to agree to it.
Okay.
And two, I go back to the trade partner. Who in the hell is taking Bryce Harper in his declining years?
San Diego Padres wants him.
Okay, so they would be prepared. Okay, and you know what? So a trade haul for Bryce Harper is not going to be as much as a lot of people think it's going to be. It's going to be mid-level, bottom-tier prospects because San Diego is going to have to take a lot of that money on. And that's,
I think it's going to be 2 prospects and a proven MLB player.
I don't think they're going to get that much for him because San Diego's taking on a bulk of that money. That's going to be part of the package. That's
unless
like a player.
The Phillies can the Phillies take on a lot of money?
Well, they could take on as much money. Look, you know the way baseball is structured.
Like
there's no cap. I mean, if he violates the next level of the luxury tax, he continues to lose more international signing money. He'll lose draft picks. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was a bad situation, then maybe you make that move. But I think we're making too much out of this. I don't care that he's mad, and I don't think he is mad. And Dave Dombrowski should not be getting anything for what he said. He said the honest thing.
You're right. All right. Jet Lachenko.
Jet Lachenko on his way back to Guelph.
I'm happy about that. He's not ready. He's struggling really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. 2 years ago, he was your 13th overall draft pick. First round pick, 13th overall. I said it on draft night. I thought it was a reach. I was told, shut up and color. I disagree. But sending him, again, if he's not ready for the NHL, that's one thing. I get that. But what is he going to do in junior hockey? This, to me, is the Guelph Storm stink as a team. They're terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the WHL. He's going to go back and dominate on the team sheet. He's going to get confidence of goal scoring and whatever. But it's not going to challenge him. It's not going to push him. Sending him down to Lehigh would push him. But, of course, now we start ticking the contract. Now the contract starts to tick away. Flyers have had an option to save another year on that deal and send him back to juniors. So that, to me, that's all that move was. And I am concerned that Jet Lachenko might be a bust.
Can we reverse what you said about this first round pick from this year?
Can I reverse it? What do you mean?
Didn't you call a bust on the first round pick this year? That's why. Is it Porter
Martone? I wasn't happy about the pick. I wanted was it Roger McQueen? I wanted him.
Yeah. I like Martone right now. He's leading his college team in scoring.
Was it Michigan State? Really?
Yes. They were on the Big Ten networks today.
Who they play?
Yes. That's what I've been watching. So.
Well, that's good stuff. No, I watch. ESPN has it on a lot. ESPN Plus. I also have an app here that I off the deep dark web that I watch hockey from all over the world. Now listen, other levels of hockey are fun to watch. They really are.
College. And one more, and then I'll let you go. I know you're busy. The Sixers 3-0 start. Who saw this coming?
Nobody. I'll give you
3J,
that.
3J and Maxey.
Good, but
It's crazy.
Do we need to see more though against some of the better teams? Like I get it, Boston, no Jason Tatum. Then they got Charlotte and Orlando. I mean, Orlando's a young team. They're pretty, they were a playoff team last year, right?
I think I think we'll find out tomorrow.
I think they're going back to back, right?
Yes, that's why Embiid didn't play, and they played good today without Embiid.
Yeah. No, either way, it's a good positive start. It gives a little hope for the season as we wear through it. You get Embiid in, you get Paul George back. You can kind of mix the rookies in and out of that. It could be something. Obviously, it'd be exciting basketball at the least.
That's what it's all about.
What it's all about.
Drawing people in and then getting your hopes up, getting your hopes up,
your dreams, and then killing you at the end. That's right. That's the life of a Philadelphia sports fan.
All
right, Joe. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yes. Wait, no, you got post game, don't you?
Oh yeah, Wednesday. We'll talk Wednesday. Ricky, we'll talk Wednesday. I'm sorry, I have post game tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk Wednesday. All right, Joe Hale. Let's talk. So let's kind of let me expand on what I was saying here to Joe. Joe brought up some really good, kind of brought up the rest of the show segments. But let's talk about the Dombrowski Harper thing. I'm not, I know the visceral effect that, God forbid you talk about negatively about Bryce Harper. And I don't get that. I don't get the Kool-Aid love for him. I really don't. I understand what he was brought here to do, and I understand what he meant to the franchise when they brought him here. A lot of things, right? The Phillies were sort of a younger, rebuilding team that was kind of making some noise in 2018. They had that September collapse, but they felt good about the team at that point, and they brought in Harper and Real Muto, and really kind of told MLB that they were back. And they pinned a lot of their hopes and dreams on Bryce Harper. Absolutely. And it was warranted. He was one of the best players in baseball at that time. And for the first few seasons of his life here, very good. I mean, when did he win the MVP? Was that 2019? 2021, somewhere around there. He won the MVP, and then he wins the NLCS MVP in 22. I mean, it was looking like a pretty good investment. But as I said, since that day he raised that trophy on the field of Citizen Bank Park after beating the Padres, it hasn't been the same Bryce Harper. It really hasn't been. He hasn't been clutch. He hasn't been disciplined. I know Bryce Harper wasn't the most disciplined hitter ever, but it's kind of taken a downward swing. And for years, people have overlooked it and given him a pass, but yet they don't overlook or give passes to other players. And I think that it was a candid, honest response from Dave Dombrowski about the play of the man making $330 million for the life of a contract. It wasn't elite. It wasn't what they expected. It wasn't what Dave Dombrowski expected. It wasn't what the fans expected. And for Bryce Harper to even make a comment about it and say, oh, well, I didn't like it. Dude, grow the hell up, man. It's a business, dude. You didn't perform. Now, on the other side, should Dombrowski said it? Yeah, of course he should. Read the room. What's he going to say? Bryce Harper had a great year. No, he didn't. He did not. He did not have a great year. But as far as Joe saying trade Harper, first and foremost, I would not be against that, of course, if they could get rid of him, move off of that money. We're entering those years of that contract where we're going to be touch and go anyway. I would definitely be listening to trade deals. I don't really know. He mentions the Padres. I, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you can get a partner. I don't know if anybody's actively looking for Bryce Harper. So if there's an offer to be made, you seriously consider it. Getting rid of some of that money, Harper accepting the trade, all those things come into play. And yeah, and it's funny because in a lesser aspect, you're looking at the trade return, which is not going to be as great as people think it's going to be. You're not getting top prospects from an organization for Bryce Harper. You're just not. He's an aging player who is showing signs of declining. And Father Time is what? Undefeated, right? You can't stop Father Time. So, again, I would be okay with trading Bryce Harper 100%. I just don't know if anybody else out there would want him. Who the hell wants Bryce Harper? I mean, I really don't know that. And Jetlachenko, another great point by Joe. Before I keep on running through these segments, let's pause here because the phone lines and the Eagles segment on the program here was brought to you by who do you want to throw it up? Let's throw some Clear the Ice up here, right? Flyers post game, clearing the ice tomorrow night. I have it with the Penguins, and Mike will have you on Thursday night against the Predators, and we're not done there. This weekend, I'm back on Saturday for the Maple Leafs, and Mike will have you on Sunday against the 1-8-1, 1-7-1 Calgary Flames. Off to a dreadful start. So were the Oilers last year, so don't take much stock in that. But yeah, make sure you're tuned in to Clear the Ice, our Flyers post game after every Flyer game. So about Jetlachenko, great news, not great news, but interesting news that they're sending him back to Guelph. Not so much that they're sending him back to Guelph. I get why they are. They don't want to put him in the AHL because they want to save another year of his contract. They have that option, so they're going to take it. But it's purely a business move because he's obviously not going to. He's not able to stay with the Flyers. He's just not producing at all offensively. And maybe it's also part of the Flyers' fault too. They don't necessarily have room for him right now on the team. And sending him back to Guelph is the smart move. They have one more year of this. Next year, he's going to have to either be with the Flyers or the Phantoms, one or the other, or they can cut him. He is signed, but so take the opportunity. He'll be back again in the spring, like he was last year. But I think he's a bust. Honestly, I haven't seen anything. The speed was his big thing. Takis' biggest issue with him is the offense. He's got problems with the offense. Either he's not attacking correctly, and I've noticed a lot about Jetlachenko. If you look at him, and I challenge you guys to go watch Guelph Storm hockey this year when he's back there. He's a different player there. He's more of an attacker. He goes more to the net. He's more aggressive with the puck. He's very timid with the puck in the NHL, and I don't know if that's because he's intimidated by the league. I don't know, but it's two different players in my opinion, and I fear that he's a bust. I really do. And or if he's not a bust, he's a many-year project guy, and that may end up being a tweener, but definitely a high price to pay for a player that the Flyers really, they can't afford to miss on any draft picks, honestly. I know it's a lot to ask, and it's damn near impossible not to miss. But when you're picking in the first round, you got to be damn sure who you're going for. And there were some players out there that I thought the Flyers should have gotten way. I projected Jetlachenko around like 47 overall, 48, like top part of the second round, not a 13. I thought it was a reach then. So, but I get the reason why they did it. It's going to go back to Guelph, but I don't know, man. I think he might be a bust. Cannot see Joe. Yeah, we lost his visual. That's right, though. I was able to talk to him. How about VJ? Yeah, VJ Edgecombe's been really good. Sixers defense stinks. They don't play any defense. Ricky, we can talk whatever you want to talk. You want to talk about Sixers tonight? I just did. I'm mad that Rob's coming back. Yeah, but Star Wars, you should be excited that Rob's coming back because the Phillies share your sentiments. They share your feelings. They created the MLB infield, on-field game coordinator position right, that Dave Dombrowski tried to pump up as some sort of wave of the future by saying that 80% of the teams in MLB use this when it's actually only about 30% of the teams. But they created this position. They're moving their current bench coach out of the bench coach job into that position. And they're going to bring in a new bench coach that has to have, as per the president of baseball operations, prior MLB managerial experience. Why do you think they're doing that, Star Wars? And I'm going to give you my theory. Because if things go bad, even if Rob Thompson gets his extension, which he will, he won't be a dead man walking, but, or lame duck, whatever you want to call it. But if things go bad for Thompson early on, they're going to make a move to try to save the season. And that's why they created a bench coach job. They didn't want to get rid of the guy they liked as bench coach, but they knew that he couldn't be the guy they turn the team over to if things go bad. So they keep their guy, and they get to bring in a guy that they can potentially put in if things go bad. So you should be happy that Rob Thompson's coming back because of what they're doing with the bench coach thing. That's just my theory, though, Star Wars. It's crazy that the Phillies are waiting for someone to be eliminated to hire a bench coach. Yes, they are. They are, and I hope it's the guy from Toronto. Hope it's Preston Mattingly's daddy. Matt, can we do more Sixers Live? Bring up a topic and we'll talk about it. Star Wars, absolutely. But yeah, all right. So Joe rattled through some of the things. We do have to get through some more segments. Let's get to the of the night segment, shall we? All right, the other night segment, we are firmly into Flyer prospect season. We've been broke about 5 or 6 of them down. We're going to continue it tonight. We're going to go back into the college ranks with some of the players we've been talking a little. We talked a little bit Porter Martone tonight, Michigan State. Flyers number 1 pick this year. Big strapping right winger, centerman, can also play center. 6'5", 220, something like that. Really big kid. But we're not talking. We already talked about him. So we're going to bring up our prospect of the night, which is Owen McLaughlin. He is no longer with the University of North Dakota. He went into the transfer pool, and he's with Boston University this year. He's a senior athletically. So he's on his final year of eligibility as a hockey player. He is currently not signed by the Flyers. So the Flyers have an interesting decision to make on him. And they'll have interesting decisions to make on some of these, a few more of these unsigned draft picks as we get into the end of the college hockey season, as they're going to have to sign some of these guys or cut them free. McLaughlin's going to be one of those guys, as he's currently unsigned, but he was the Flyers' 7th round pick in 2021. 6 foot, 181 center. Again, he is no longer with North Dakota. This is from last year, I believe, this breakdown, this profile on him. When he was with North Dakota, but he is now with Boston University. But McLaughlin put the hockey world on alert when he recorded 72 points in 62 games for the Clark Cup winning Sioux City Musketeers of the USHL, which of course is a prep league. It's not really a prep league. It's the United States. It's America's number 1 major junior hockey league. Yeah, but it's really not. It doesn't hold a candle at all to the CHL, and it's a weird league. All the players are in it are amateurs, meaning they don't get paid. They don't get paid, so they keep their college eligibility. Because in hockey, you're still considered an amateur. I don't think you get paid. So the USHL is a pay-to-play league, so to speak. So when these kids at like 16. So basically, think of the USHL as this. If you're a hockey player anywhere in the world and you have dreams of playing in college, that's where you're headed, and that's where you want to go versus, say, major junior hockey up in Canada. you want to go to the NCAA. Well, at around 16, you would get plucked up out of your home and drafted into the USHL, and you would go and join one of these teams. And you pay for everything. You pay for your stuff, your equipment, your everything. You don't get paid, but it's an opportunity for you to get scouted against top level competition and potentially get a scholarship or whatever. And Owen McLaughlin played there for the Sioux City Musketeers. He was born in Phoenixville, where like Mike, so he's a local kid, where like Mike Piazza, goddamn, grew up. And much like the Hall of Fame catcher, early in his career, McLaughlin needs some muscle and strength. He was a project, but he is one with potential offensive upside. And I love the height weight profile, of course. And so far through the early part of this season with Boston University, 7 games played, 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points, and a 0 for plus minus. So definitely a project player, as the profile said, 7th round pick in 2021. But he's, and the Flyers are going to make a decision on him here this year. They got to sign him because he's done with his eligibility after the year. And he'll know. And as far as the hockey thing goes, the NHL has a deal with NCAA that if you draft a player and he goes into the college ranks, then you don't have to sign him until he's completed with his playing eligibility. So 4 years, 5 years if you get redshirted, right? So it's a really good deal for the NHL. But Owen McLaughlin, a project, big strapping centerman, currently playing for Boston University, is your Flyer prospect the night. Matt, can I bring up? Yeah, absolutely. And Joe says I did. I did tell you. Yeah, you do whatever you want, Ricky. It's your dime, man. And the other night segment was brought to you by the PNM and the AM program. Pat Bernard, Mike Laro, every Sunday morning. It won't be Pat on Sunday. It'll be Mike and Al, and they have a special guest coming. I don't know. They won't tell me who it is, but they got a special guest coming in studio, or not in studio. Well, yeah, I guess in studio with them. So you have to tune in to see who that special guest is. I don't know who it is. They won't tell me who it is. Tie game of times, number 8 of the postseason, 2nd of the night. And good segue, Joe Hale, to our final segment of the night. Yes, indeed. The card review segment, which is my favorite part of the day. And as you know, from Joe Hale's lips to God's ears, Shohei Ohtani with the 2nd homer of the night, is 8th of the postseason. Shohei Ohtani possibly the face of baseball. When you think of Major League Baseball, you think of him. And again, when it comes to the baseball card world, and I've said it on this program many times, and I'll say it many more. Any Shohei Ohtani property you can get your hands on, you do, and you keep it. And we're going to talk Shohei Ohtani tonight. We're going to go back to the year of 2020 with Shohei tonight. From Topps 2020, this was they called it was an insert that year, this type of card. Shohei was not the only one that got this card. A bunch of players did. But this was called the Turkey Red insert of 2020. I don't know why they call it Turkey Red. Is it because it has sort of a fall thing going on? I have no clue why they call it that. But again, Ohtani was featured. I know Rhys Hoskins was featured that year. I have another card. Mike Trout was featured. A bunch of players were featured in this type of card. If you find these cards, they are numbered TR. That's when you know you have a Turkey Red 2020. It's a TR dash something. That's the card numbers. This is TR dash 47 from the Topps 2020 set. Again, this was an insert that they did that year. They do inserts and parallels every year, and this was what they did in 2020. Very colorful card, very cool card. Again, you're not collecting baseball cards on color. It's part of the reason why you are, but of course, marketability and the player And anything Shohei Ohtani, of course, is back in his days with the Angels. It's about his third year in the league, I guess, around that point. Right now on a few databases I've seen, this card's worth about $6. So, not a bad little haul for, an insert turkey red, no bells or whistles, whatever, from the base 2020 Top Series 1 set. And again, I think it's a pretty cool card. I like the colors. I do. I like them. And that's your card of the night. And here it is in its physical form. I got a copy of it right here. Again, pretty cool card. And it's Shohei Ohtani. I'm telling you, scoop him up. So, all right, we have come to the end of our journey tonight. Glad to what am I doing? Glad to have been able to come back tonight. Was not supposed to. Was supposed to be back tomorrow night, or actually Wednesday night. I was supposed to be back home tomorrow, post game tomorrow night, and then the show was going to kick off for the week Wednesday. But I was able to get home a little early. Got home last night and was able to rev this bad boy up and join you guys here on this night. Of course, tomorrow I will be on post game. Wednesday I'll be here. Thursday we'll have our Halloween show, which really all that is boo. But we'll have some Halloween fun, and maybe we'll talk about horror movies, Halloween in general, what it means to you growing up, or basically what it means to you now. Talk about Halloween plans. What are you guys doing Halloween night? I'm passing candy out. Yep, absolutely. So that's what I've reverted to in my life. I make fun of children that come to my door and give them candy. So we'll have some fun for the rest of the week. There are some, again, let's pop up the schedule again. This is your schedule for the week. Yesterday, you had PM in the AM. You had Eagles, Giants, Steel City, by the way. Gotta give some love to these guys. I keep on forgetting about our Pittsburgh guys. Great job by the Steel City guys, pre and post game show. Outstanding work. It's been getting better and better every week. They're building in flight, as we say in the business, and they're definitely doing a great job. Really good guests, really good content, very professional. Very, very happy for them, and they've been great additions to the network. The Gridiron Weekly, again, is a program they do as well. So is the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. So the relationship thus far has been outstanding, and I would love having them here. So continue to support them in their adventures. But there was nothing scheduled for today, but here I am. Tomorrow you will have the return, or not return, but the new time and date of the Locks, Props, and Parlay program, along with some Flyers, Penguins post game. And then Wednesday I'll be back following the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Thursday, no Birds Blast because the Eagles are on a bye. Gridiron Weekly, Flyers, Prez post game, me, and then nothing Friday right now. I'll see what I could do. I have one more person I can ask and see if he'll do it. But and Penn State, Ohio State, Happy Valley Huddle on Saturday just doesn't have the bang that Penn State, Ohio State has, right? But you know what, Mike Laro, you wanted a post-game show. You got it. You take that bad boy to the end. And then Flyers, Leafs as well. So there's your week in a glance on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. So continue to support us through our adventures throughout this week. We will be back tomorrow with a few programs. So keep watching us. Keep paying attention. Keep the faith. So until we talk again on Wednesday night on this program, I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Flyers post game. But until we talk again, you guys have a great rest of your night. Take care.